Hello everyone. So in this video I would like to continue where we left off in the last video about the basics of polymesh, the polymesh tool. You have here this crazy shape that doesn't make any sense, and I'm going to delete this because we are going to make a new object, and my idea was to make a simple house to show you some of the basic techniques that I have shown you in the last video. So I apologize again for my laptop fan. Somehow recording a video is a bit intense for my laptop or something. Anyway, let's start out with this cube. I'm going to resize it a little bit like this, because I'm going to make a very simple house out of it. So the first thing we're going to do is making the roof. So that has like a pointy. Yeah, you all know how a roof looks like, of course. So what I want to do is create an edge along here and move that upward. So what I showed you in the last video, I'm going to select these two edges and divide them into two and connect them by Command C. You can also find it here. So now you have this edge, and I have these two vertices selected, and I can move it upward to create a little bit of a roof. And I'm going to make this a little bit smaller, like a small cozy house. And next, what I'm going to do is bevel these faces outward, and you'll soon see why I would want to do that. Because when I do that, I get these additional faces that I can again bevel outward to make this overhanging roof thing. And I'm also going to do that on this side. Did I do something wrong here? Yes. You'll notice here when I zoom in that I accidentally beveled some of this, and that this will happen sometimes, and you really have to get a feeling for this. So, like sometimes you notice like, hey, did something go wrong? You have to check it, because you really don't want this kind of stuff, because these kind of arrows will eventually how do you say it, like stack on top of each other, and it can make your model really messy. So I'm going to hit Ctrl Z a couple of times like this, and select these faces again with shift selected, so you can select all. And by the way, if you hold down Control, you can sorry, was it Control? Yes, if you hold Control and drag, you can deselect parts. It's also a good thing to know. So I'm going to bevel this one outwards again, and notice that I'm using Shift to make it just a outward extension. If I didn't use Shift, I'm going to show you how that looks, or how that might look. Like it might look like this or something, because this is maybe an exaggerated example, but this is also one of the things that if you don't do it precisely, then eventually it might mess up your model. So use Shift to make it precise along this axis only. And one thing I very quickly want to show you about Control Z, like the undo, is that when you first download Artivolution, it is set to a very low value. Like this is like very low value, like you can only undo a couple of times. So I just set it to 150 and it works fine. Just keep that in mind, that if you haven't set that to a higher value, then you're going to run into trouble later because you can't undo anymore. So here we have our house with our roof, and next I want to make a door and a window here. So what you can do is like bevel with shift press down and move sideways, and as you can see, the entire shape of this face is copied and made smaller here. As you can see, the roof is also here, so, and I didn't want that. I want just a square. So I'm selecting these 2 points and I hit Command C to connect. And you notice again that I switch between these tools very easy. I do that automatically, so if I go too fast for you, then well, you kind of out of luck. I'll just repeat what I do here. Like I press F to go into face, V for vertex mode, edge for edge mode, E for edge mode, and B for bevel mode. Like this is the bevel mode. And I can press spacebar anytime in whatever tool I am to go back to the move tool. So let's go back to bevel. And what you can do to create the window, let's start with the window, is shrink this, bevel this inward, so you have this face, and you can then press spacebar and move this thing around. Just make sure that you only move it in X or Y direction and not in Z direction, because stuff like this will happen, and again that will eventually could mess up your model. So, but what I'm trying to show you here is that whenever you're designing something, it's very, very important to always think ahead. Because now that I've done this, this is a good spot to make a window, but I also want to make a door here, so I have to pay attention to that, and I can't do the same trick again here because of these lines now. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say here. So you have to think ahead and know that if I do it like this, I'm going to get into trouble later. So let's go back and be like, alright, I want 2 different structures here, so I'm going to divide this face first. So let's divide these edges. I've selected these 2 edges where I want an edge in the middle of, so I divided it by 2 again. And it automatically selects these new vertices, and I press Command C to connect them. Alright, so now I can use this face. I hold down Shift and I bevel this inward using this tool again. Press spacebar and resize the window and position it however I want, like this. And what I'm now going to do is make a little window pane. I bevel it inward with Shift again. It should be okay. And I bevel it inward like this, using Shift again and dragging downward. I select the outline and I bevel this out. So, just like that. And I guess this looks pretty good. So now for the door. You could say that you can just do the same procedure and like make it longer, and voila, there's your door. But there's a very important mistake that you're making here now, because it looks great and all, but you have here a face that you're kind of like pushing in the corner and trying to ignore it or something, because the face is still there, but you're just making it very small. and you want to avoid stuff like that, because when you are like, if you would want to print this in 3D, normally it won't be that much of an issue though, but sometimes things get confused, and also because you can't see it yourself anymore. It might be overlooked and it might mess up your model. Okay, so it's all about thinking ahead again, because you want the door, of course, to be on the floor. You can't have this face here. So let's go back again. So let's try a different tactic. Let's again divide these edges, and this time I want 2 lines, because I want again some rectangle here. So let's, instead of dividing by 2, divide by 3, and that will cut up the edges by 3. So that means it creates 2 additional points, and it has it automatically selected here now. So press Command C again to connect them, and you can immediately adjust them. So it should be about the width of our door. Now let's select these edges and divide that by 2, and Command C, and voila. Maybe it's a little bit too small, because it wasn't in the same height as the window. It's going to be a very small, cozy house. Alright, I can now, what should I do with this? I am going to like bevel it inward, like this. And as you can see here, this is a problematic area again, because these 2 faces are having like 0 thickness, and if you're doing rendering and stuff like that, it's all fine, unless you of course don't want this to be visible. But if you pull this up, then you can see how the geometry is here, and you kind of want to cut this out. So what I'm going to do now, and this may look a bit messy, is that I'm going to select this bottom face, and I'm going to delete it. And this makes the mesh open. So before it was a solid mesh, and now it is an open mesh, and generally you don't want that. It creates all kinds of problems, whether you are rendering with materials or something, or whether you are 3D printing. You never want a model that is not solid for 3D printing, because it won't work. But anyway, so I select this face also, and I delete it. So what we're left with now is this outline, kind of the bottom face. And Extrusion has the capability of detecting where the mesh is open and make it solid again. So go to the edge mode, or vertex mode is also possible. I like to show it in edge mode, and right click and click select boundaries. As you can see, Extrusion recognized the outline of this hole, and you go right click again and click close boundaries, and voila, it created a face. And this little problem here is now gone. So, and as I can see, it's already 14 minutes into the video. This time I'm going to try to make it a little bit longer. Maybe YouTube will allow it to me, because I want to show you how to make a chimney here real quick. And I hope this won't take too long. Alright, we're going to make a chimney. So we need like this thing, we need a rectangle to extrude from. So what we're going to, you can of course do this. Oh, let's take it easy and let's do this. Let's do it the easy way. And here you see a different problem, because you want to move it downward, but if you do this, then it creates a problem that it only moves it in the coordinating system along the axis. Axis. I don't know how to do it in how to pronounce it in whatever. So what you do now is you can press W, because there are different modes to this tool. If you press W, you get this different thing, and then you can move it along the field of your view. But that's also not what you want, because you can try to align it like this, and it may look like it is going to move right, but it is not mathematical precision, and I don't want that. I want it to be perfect. So press W again, and you see another mode, and this is the normal. This mode kind of likes it calculates the face normals. So this face is a vector sticking out, and it's perpendicular to the face, and these other axes are aligned this way, so you can move it in respect to the orientation of the face that it sits on. So that's a good thing to know. And let's put it here. And what I'm going to do is, because we're going to extend it upward, I'm going to make it longer than it's wide. And I'm going to top view. Let's see how this looks. I want it to be square in this view. Yeah. Alright. So if we go to the bevel tool again. Oh, wait a minute. Let's press W first again to reset this. Let's go to the bevel tool again. And what happens now if we bevel this? It bevels along the face normal. So we get a very ugly, strange chimney that is like this outside of the roof. That is not what we want. We want it to go straight up. So there's a different type of bevel tool, and this is no, not this one. This one. I don't know how it's called. Extrude faces it's called. I see. And with this tool you can see the like the move tool. It looks the same, and what you can do is move it along this axis, and it extrudes along that axis. So hit space bar to go to the move tool again, because our chimney is now sawed off like this, and we don't want that either. Let's go to vertex mode right now. As you can see, I have these vertices selected, and what some of you might be tempted to do is like rotate it, but as you can see, it makes doesn't have the right width. So what you really want to do is like scale this down, so the distance on the on the y-axis will be 0 here. And you can do this, but like I said, I want like mathematical precision as often as I can. I really if it is possible, I will always choose to do it perfect. So what I do now is go to vertex and transform points, and I've already shown you this in the Boolean tutorial. When editing the curve, I wanted to get points perfectly aligned. This is basically the same thing. You'll see here in the move tool along which axis I want them to be aligned. I mean, where I want the distance to be 0, and I fill in 0 here in the scale box of the y-axis. Press OK, and voila, it is straight. And of course you can finish it off real quick by holding shift, extruding inward, and extruding inward again. So I hope this was helpful. Here's our little house, and I hope you can now mess around a little bit with the polymesh tool. This were only the basics. There is a lot more still to it, but it's already 21 minutes into the video, so I will explain the polymesh tool further in another video. So have a nice day, and I'll see you next time.